Welcome to the Green Wasp Removal YouTube channel. In this episode, we continue training and mentoring the Manchester University Wasp survey team on August 13th, 2024, as they take on a very aggressive nest of Southern Yellowjackets that had built a large nest underneath a storage shed. The property owner had been stung while doing landscaping adjacent to the shed, so this nest had to go. Southern Yellowjackets, or Vespula Squamosa, are a beneficial native species in the region because they're helpful pollinators and they're biological pest control agents. However, they are also among the most aggressive species of wasp that we deal with. Swarm control was important, as hundreds of these wasps were collected for Venom Immunotherapy, or VIT. Then we had to cut the nest out of the floor of the shed using an oscillating multi-tool. The team was able to capture the queen and secure the nest brood comb into a bin so it could be brought back to the lab and transferred into an incubation habitat. This allows the pupating wasps in the nest to finish metamorphosis in captivity until they can hatch out into adult wasps when they can be collected for VIT. This was an excellent specimen for Venom Immunotherapy collection because there was a large population of adults that came with the nest, and there was also plenty of pupating wasps that we could collect later after incubation. As always, the team did a great job getting this nest secured and collected, making that property safe, and bringing back wasps we could use in the lab for VIT. We're going to show you the entire process of how we do the freezing of the wasps. We flash freeze them with dry ice, as you see here. We flash freeze the wasps using frozen CO2 or dry ice because that's how we preserve their venom for the biomedical industry. Wasp venom will degrade very quickly naturally, so it's important to freeze it instantly so that it can be preserved for the labs. We'll also show you the process of how we set up the habitat where we're going to incubate this nest. Vespula Squamosa, or Southern Yellowjackets, are a very hardy species. They can live inside a captive environment for extended periods. They're a great species to raise for Venom Immunotherapy and to incubate until we can collect them. All they need is a safe, warm place and some water and honey inside the habitat, which we added later, and they can live in there for extended periods until we can collect them for VIT. This was a very productive nest, and it produced more queens. As you see here, the large orange wasps in there are queens. And this nest produced many more workers, so we were able to collect on this multiple times, and as of the date of this video, which is August 27th, we're still collecting on this nest. So let's take you back now to August 13th, when we first found this nest underneath the shed, and we'll take you through the entire process. As always, thanks for being here. We appreciate your support on YouTube. It's been a blast in 2024 bringing you more content. Stay tuned. There's plenty more to come this season. If you enjoy the content you see on our channel, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment to let us know you're there. Enjoy the show. All right, it's August 13th, 2024. We're in the backyard of a residence, and there's a shed here that has an active yellowjacket nest here. You see them coming and going. We're going to take a species ID, and the way we do that is Katie here has a specimen container and some canned gas. She's going to grab a specimen. Great. Okay. So Katie captured one right off my veil. Good job. What we're going to do now is gas them. So here's your canned gas. Go ahead and gas that one. We're going to take a look at this species with close-up optics, and they're too small and fast to ID them until you can gas them and get good close-up imagery. Larger, that should do it. Now close it off like that, flip it over, wait for the gas to disable them. There you go. Looks pretty good. That one's fighting to stay awake, but oh, look at that. That's a Southern Yellowjacket. Here, I'll show you. And then flip them over so we can see the pattern on the back. There you go. All right, you see the two vertical marks on her back up on top? So what Katie did here was knock this wasp out with some gas so we could get close-up imagery on it. Here in the red circle, you can see the two vertical marks. Yellow marks on a black background on the back of the thorax. These are the only yellowjackets in this local area that have that marking. It makes them very obviously Southern Yellowjackets, Vespula Squamosa. The gas is temporary. We use it as a tranquilizer to get imagery, and in a few more minutes, this wasp will wake back up again. Another sign that you're dealing with Southern Yellowjackets is that they will extend their paper far out onto the opening of their nest. Other yellow jacket species don't do that. So when you see a bunch of paper around the entry point that leads down into the tunnel, that's a very good sign you're dealing with southern yellow jackets. So we're going to reduce the swarm a little bit. So this looks like a little bit of wasp paper. Get right out of the flight path. See where the main entry is. Alright, here they come. They're coming to attack. So get ready for a rock and roll party. Another indication that you're dealing with southern yellow jackets is they release a pheromone in their venom that smells like a very sharp, chemically version of maple syrup. Real strong maple syrup smell. So their attack pheromones out in the air. Let's crank this up a little bit. Can you smell that odor? Mm-hmm. So they're out in force, ready to attack. You see they're starting to get collected. And they're hitting that device. Two reasons they hit that. One is they figure it's probably an enemy. The other is it's a dark hole and they can't resist exploring a dark hole. And they always jump right on the gloves, as you see here. That's why we use 2 layers of gloves. Very aggressive wasps, the southern yellow jacket. They'll grab on with their mandibles and they'll just sting and sting and sting repeatedly. And they're all over the veils. That's what they do. I'm not seeing many coming in and out of the nest entry. They're just swarming. But we're starting to collect them. So we're looking inside this shed. We don't see any in here, right? So their nest is probably right here underneath these boards. Because basically this is where the nest is located. So if you were to cut through this floor, you'd find a big colony there, but for sure. Elise is here today. Hi, Elise. And we're going to be working on collecting southern yellow jackets. It's a very beneficial species of native wasp here in North America. Very good at biological pest control. They feed pest insects to their larvae. Also, very good pollinators. So in general, they're beneficial, but they're one of the most aggressive species we deal with. So you have to be very careful around these because they act like killer bees. You see how many are already being collected? So we just keep that thing running and we stay out of it because here's what they do. Immediately, if you get near them, they just attack like crazy. So you're going to be attacked in the face, attacked on the body, and they will sting multiple times. So if you walk up on this nest with a lawnmower
or you're doing yard work and you disturb a nest, you're in trouble. So you always want to inspect your landscape before you begin working on it, looking for traffic coming and going from yellow jacket holes in the ground. See them all flooding out from underneath that piece of wood. They're attacking the phone camera. Yeah, they're flooding out of there, all right. That's the land of the killer bees. Wasp version. So we're just letting this machine collect them. It's for Tony Andrews bee vac. It's connected to our specimen collection bottle. And we're just sitting away from the nest to prevent a lot of swarming. So at this stage, the early stage of the collection, you stir them up, you bang them out so they come out, and then you just let the machine collect them. And that's the way to reduce the swarm with the least amount of sting risk for the crew and for anybody around the general area. There's tons of them in the bottle, so that's the main thing. They're getting collected. So Elise is back about 10, 12 feet from the nest. And the reason we stay back here is just so that they'll focus on the equipment and not on us. We want them to go into that collection device. So the more we stay out of the swarm, the more they'll go back and focus their anger and so forth on that collection bottle. And then they'll end up in the collection bottle. But as you can see, they're not letting up. They will swarm until they're collected, looking for something to sting. So as we stand by, just waiting for this cloud of wasps to get smaller, it looks like the same size cloud all the time. In fact, it's about 2/3 smaller than it was, because most of them now are collected in the device. but as soon as you get close, they come after you. So we try to stay back, let them focus on that device. So we put a little cover from the bin over the collection bottle. And the reason for that is we don't want them to overheat in the sun while they're in the collection bottle, because all wasps are pretty sensitive to heat. They will die pretty quickly if they're in the direct sun inside a container. So our cloud is getting smaller and smaller as more of them get collected. They keep getting sucked up one after the other. It takes a little time, but the patience is worth it. So we've put some greenery back to where it was before this nest was disturbed, and we camouflaged the collection device, and so far it looks like it's starting to calm them down and more of them are getting collected and going back to the nest. See, they continually keep getting sucked into the collection device, and that's what we want. So they're starting to go back to the nest because we replaced the log here and we covered up some of the area with greenery, which is how it looked before it was disturbed. And that tends to calm them down and send them back there. And as soon as they go back, they start getting collected in the device. So as you can see, the swarm on the outside has died down quite a bit. Every time we bang them out of the wall, it re-swarms. So what we're going to do is take an oscillating tool. We're going to go inside and we're going to cut that floor open. So right here along this edge, this is where they are. This is where they're entering from. So this is where we're going to cut the floor open. Take a look at this. So I was just kind of looking down through the crack for where the nest, or where the biggest amount of entry point traffic was. And so I cut here. See that?
Oh yeah.
There's our nest.
Yeah.
It's a big one. It'll be larger than this area, but at least we're in the right track, in the right area. Much easier to go in from above than to try to dig it out from the side. Does that make sense? So you see all this paper. Originally this nest would have been started probably about 80% of the time, started by Vespula maculifrons, which is an eastern yellowjacket. The southern yellowjacket queens are parasitic queens. They'll wait for the maculifrons to start a nest, and then they'll take it over, kill the queen, and raise their own larvae in the nest. Yeah, pretty much. So that's where they're at. For now, we're going to leave that there. I'm going to cut back a little further so you guys can step out with the dust. So whenever you're doing demo work, you're taking down walls, ceilings, floors, always have a respirator, a mask, always have eye protection. There's a lot of dust. It's all toxic. You don't want any of it in your lungs. Okay, here's more of it. Very good sized nest. Still going back quite a ways in this area. So what you see is it extends all the way back here. And any of this could be current nest or old nest from previous seasons. So you can see activity down there. Here's our stud, part of the floor foundation system. So we'll go a little bit further this way. Maybe open that up too. All right, you want to take a look? So we've got two support points right here and right here. And they filled up the whole bay. So we're going to dig this out and set it in here.
Do you need like a shovel over there?
I don't think so. I'm just going to cut through it. And it goes further back, but for now I'm just going to try to dig it by hand. And if you look here, all this is stuffed with leaves. They've been using leaves to construct some of it. So it may extend over there. We don't really know. But I have to get this mess out first and see. So that's the plan, okay? Elise is going to bring out some of this nest. Just start cutting it out like a big piece of cake. If you want to use tongs, you can. But I can loosen up more of that floor here in a minute. But for now, see how much you can get out just by lifting it out. Put it right here. Anything look like it's live, or is it all pretty old? All different material they built right into the nest. Let's take a look at that. You got a queen?
Right there, right there.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's put her in. Close it up. Good eyes.
She's
Yeah,
still
she's
there.
super orange.
Yeah.
Yep, there can be this time of year. You see any live looking wasps?
Yeah, there's some live, but not queens.
Okay, sift through it pretty good. Make sure we don't miss any queens. Keep your eyes down here too, Elise. Make sure we don't miss any queens. They're going to be big, bright orange wasps. You can't miss them.
Yeah, she was definitely in there.
Okay, cool. That's great. So let's dig out the rest of what you got.
Okay,
Just make a pile. Yeah, just kind of make a pile right here. And let's see what we can find. Bring this out for Katie to inspect it this time. Right, that looks about
Everything
good,
that's
huh?
down there.
All right.
On leaves, but
Can you feel anything with your hand that feels like it's still nesting there? Kind of reach in and see what you can find.
no.
Okay, that seems like it.
Yeah, it's a cavity.
Excellent, excellent. Let's take a look out the sun. All right, so here we have Elise and Katie, successful removal of a Vespula Squamosa nest. That's the Southern Yellowjacket. Really aggressive species, but also very beneficial. How many layers do you think we have there?
4. 1, 2, 3, maybe 5. 5.
4 or 5. It's a good sized nest. And what you see here on the bottom,
4.
take a look at the difference between the big cells on the bottom comb and the smaller worker cells toward the top. They're making queen cells. So that was a lot of queens we interrupted there, which is going to be great for venom immunotherapy because we can pupate out all of these in captivity and collect them. So really good work. Good job. That was great. So let's collect that, put it in the shade for now, anywhere it's cool and kind of moist. How's our collection looking over here? Nice. That looks great. Quite a collection. Vespula Squamosa, Southern Yellowjacket. Mostly female workers here. So that'll be great for venom immunotherapy. Nice job. Keep it right down there for a few more minutes. These are super bright colored wasps, and she'll be in between one of the layers. We saw her running in there when we pulled it. So really nice. Good job. It's a good sized nest that would have produced another several thousand wasps probably over the season. So in the cavity space, there's nothing left down here now but dirt and leaves. We cleared the whole thing out. This entire cavity was filled with the nest. If you look down inside, toward the back, nothing in here but leaves now and mulch. So no more nests, no more paper. It was just the one cavity here between the two studs you see. Floor joists, floor supports. So we'll close this floor back up. And that'll be the end of this one. So obviously this floor will need to be patched, but for now, we're all set. Elise has Vespula Squamosa, mostly female workers here. Great job on the collection. There's tons of them in there, and that'll be great for venom immunotherapy. So well done today. Dug that nest out with no problem. Thanks. Yeah, it's really interesting. These things are some of the most aggressive yellow jackets that we deal with. So it's nice to get these out of the way so people aren't getting stung here anymore. So the job is complete. We don't see any more wasps here at all. We've got the nest, we've got the queen, we collected all the workers, and now they can get back to cleaning out this whole area. Is what they were doing when they got stung. The property owners were trying to clear away all of this area, and they're going to work on this shed a little bit, but now it's safe to do that. We don't see any issue inside with wasps, so good to go. Southern Yellowjackets, Vespula Squamosa. Very important native species here, a very beneficial insect. They hunt and kill and feed to their larvae pest insects. That's their job in the ecosystem, and they're very good at it. But they're also one of the most aggressive and dangerous species of yellowjackets as far as sting risk to people. They do not like to get bothered. If you stumble across them when you're mowing the lawn or anywhere else where they have a nest hidden away in some cavity somewhere, these guys happen to be underneath the flooring of an old shed. And when the owner of the shed went to do some landscaping by the edge of the shed, They were attacked and stung, so we had to get these out. Okay, now it's time to freeze our wasp specimens. This is the Vespula Squamosa that we collected from underneath the shed. Put them in the dry ice container and bury them in dry ice. This will flash freeze them. In 15 or 20 minutes, we'll take them out and transfer them to a species baggie and then put them into long-term storage in a chest cooler for the season. So after 15 to 20 minutes is what it's been now. We're going to take them back out of the ice. And you see inside now, they are quite frozen in there. Frozen solid, flash frozen by CO2, frozen dry ice. So we're going to sort out some of this debris while they're frozen. I'm going to take out some of the junk. This is just some of the debris from the shed floor. And we just don't want that in our collection of frozen wasps. Frozen solid. Ready for long-term storage. It's August 14th, 2024. And we've had this Squamosa nest in this container with the queen and some of the workers in the brood comb for a couple of days. We haven't had time. It's been very busy, so we haven't had time to transfer it into a habitat yet. So we're going to do that now. And when you do this, you need to be fully suited because these wasps will absolutely attack like crazy. As you can see, we've got full gear. 2 visors, can't get through the net, double pair of gloves so they can't sting through the bee gloves. It's going to be a pretty wild transfer, but once it's done, they'll be inside this habitat where we can raise them for Venom Immunotherapy and pupate them out later. That's the plan for this nest. It will be producing a bunch of brand new queens, which will be viable for Venom Immunotherapy, and a bunch more workers. So we'll see how that goes. But it'll be done in captivity here. So as you see, it's very busy. A lot of wasps on it right now. So far it's not going into attack mode yet, but it will here in a minute. So as you see here, I'm pretty much covered in stinging wasps. They came out ready for war instantaneously. All right, so we got a bunch of them inside the habitat. There's also several of them outside the habitat. So what we're going to do is get the vacuum, because they're all going to hover around here because that's their nest. So we'll get the vacuum out and we'll vacuum up the rest of these that are currently out attacking. But inside the nest, you can see there's quite a bit of work still going on, quite a bit of pupae, quite a bit of larvae. Let's see if we can find our queen. Normally she's out walking around in between the layers of comb, so we should get a look at her here in a minute. See find a big orange colored wasp, much larger than the other workers. That will be the queen. It's interesting, as we observe this nest, they're releasing the alarm pheromone and venom in the air. It smells like a sharp maple syrup smell. And that's unique to Southern Yellowjackets, Vespula Squamosa. Queen hasn't made an appearance yet. So we're going to let them calm down now, and we'll let them go back to doing what they were doing. And then we'll collect a few that are hanging around. So we've got a few here hanging on, trying to sting through the veil, trying to attack the gloves. It's okay. It's what they do. They're workers. They're protecting their home. None left in there. You see the queen right there. Big orange wasp. Can't miss it. She's out patrolling between the layers, out laying eggs, trying to hide and survive. She looks quite different than the other wasps. She's always easy to spot. But she's hiding in there now. Now we have to add some honey and some water. If you look here, you can see they immediately go for the honey. So we'll see how this nest does in captivity.
August 18th, 2024. We're taking a look at the Vespula Squamosa nest that we pulled from underneath a shed a few days back. It's ready for a collection. They've already eaten up all their honey and they've gone through a bunch of their water. So it's time to collect them so we can refill the water and the honey and let them pupate out of there some more.
Southern Yellowjackets, just collected from the habitat where we incubated them. It's August 18th, 2024. Now we're going to freeze them for Venom Immunotherapy. It's August 26th, 2024. As you can see here, since we've had this in captivity, there's been multiple queens born. There's 1, 2, 3 right here. The big orange ones. There's been several new queens born since we had this in captivity. So we'll be able to collect all those for Venom Immunotherapy. Also some males born and a lot of female workers. Here's a male right here. You can tell by his extra long antenna. And he's got an extra segment on the body. And no stinger. No venom sac. There's another queen. So there's at least 4 new queens here.
That's it for today's episode. Thanks for riding along with us. As always, we appreciate you being here with us. If you enjoyed the show, please do remember, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Help us grow the channel and help us understand who's out there. We love to know that you're there. We love to hear from you. And the more support we receive from YouTube, the more we can bring you excellent content all about wasps, bees, hornets, yellow jackets. Stay tuned. Have a good one.